Hi, I'm Stevie Crevetto, Director of Public Information. Welcome to this edition of On Board with St. Charles Parish Public Schools. During these segments, we'll hear from school board and staff members on various topics and items of interest pertaining to the school system. Joining me for this edition of On Board will be Dr. Alice Cryer-Sumler and School Board President, Mr. Dennis Nakhan. This edition will focus on the district's mentoring program and graduation support provided to our students. I'd first like to welcome Dr. Alice Cryer-Sumler, Curriculum Specialist, Graduation Advocate. And Dr. Sumler, I know you work on a number of different initiatives supporting middle and high school students. So could you share with us a little bit about your job and what it entails?
Sure, I'll gladly do that. My job basically, and when I meet people and ask me what do, I work with helping students graduate from high school. And so that can start as early as elementary school, but I don't really work a lot there. In the middle school, we have the intervention programs, which is extra help to students who might be struggling a little bit. And then moving on to the high school, we have several programs in place, which are all, I guess, facilitated under what we call the graduation team. And the graduation team consists of administrators from the school, teachers, counselors, some central office people from child welfare, and myself. And basically what we do is, if students come in ninth grade as transitional ninth graders, we start working with them and we follow them until graduation. We meet monthly and discuss them, we meet with them, and just offer all the support that we can in addition to what the school is doing. Also under there, we have two programs in particular at the high school that are like an extra help for students if they need it. And we have what's called the performance-based program, which is an online computer-based program. The students work at their own pace, but we have certified teachers in the classroom with them. We also have another program, and we call it the exit room, but it's really a program for students who may be a little bit older, and instead of leaving school, they'll stay in school, get prepared to take the HiSET test. And we have a teacher in there with them. They also do work online. And most of our work is done with the program through Edgenuity. We started that a few years ago. And the last thing I will say is at both high schools, we have credit recovery. So we usually take that route first before we jump into the last two. And usually HiSET is kind of like the last opportunity to make sure we can save a student before they drop out.
Well, I appreciate you sharing. I know we have a number of different programs that you mentioned, and one of the big initiatives that we have in place is our mentoring program. And I know you also facilitate and oversee that mentoring program. So can you share a little bit about that mentoring program and how the mentoring program can support a student's success?
Okay. Our mentoring program that we have now at the high school is really, I think, going into its 8th or 9th year. And you know, we recruit mentors all the time. There's a training that we do, there's a background check, but the mentors come in once a week for 30 minutes. Ms. Tara Thomas, who is the person who worked directly with me at both schools, we get together and look at the kids and try to match them up with someone, one of our mentors. And so we meet once a week for 30 minutes. We've created lessons, so we have a booklet. And in that booklet, there are lessons on goal setting, just life skills. And so getting to know you opportunities. And so the mentors come in once a week. It may not be every week because of testing is going on at the school. We don't take the kids away from that. They meet in the library. Ms. Thomas or I are in there at all times. And we talk to the mentors. We have everything set up for them, so they don't have to think of anything really on their own. And usually these relationships go on well beyond that first year. It's just another layer of support for those students when they come to the high school. And And the kids really like it. At first, they may act like they don't, but after a while, they really like it and they're looking for their mentors to come. So, and you know, we're not taking kids out of testing, academics. If there's something going on, we tell them to go back to class.
So I know probably one of the big questions people have is, who can be a mentor? Are there any type of qualifications that you need in order to be one? So if you could just share a little bit about really who can be involved, and I think it's anyone who can
Pretty
be a
much.
mentor.
Right, if they're 21 years or older, and they would have to do the background check, and we make that very comfortable for them. I walk them over to Human Resources, leave them there, come back and pick them up, and then we start the training. So really, anyone who's willing to reach out to the future and work with the student, because that's what we're doing. And the training is very minimal, but we do training throughout the year in that after every session pretty much, either Ms. Thomas or I will talk to the mentors because we just want to check in with them to see how things are going with the kids.
One of the most important things for a mentor is for them to really have a desire to work with children and to make a difference in their lives. And coming up next, we're going to be joined by School Board President Mr. Dennis Nakhan, who has been a mentor for a number of years assisting our students.
Want to stay in the loop with your school system? Like and follow St. Charles Parish Public Schools on Facebook and keep up with academic achievement, sports and athletics, extracurricular activities, news and events. And in case of an emergency, we'll be here to make sure you're in the loop. You and I, we are St. Charles Parish Public Schools. No need to leave your favorite streaming platforms. St. Charles Parish Public Schools and Press Play Productions have hours of HD content on end. See your friends and family on the big screen, whether it's athletics, concerts, theater, community events, school board updates, and more. Subscribe to our YouTube and Vimeo pages to make sure you don't miss a thing.
Thanks for joining us, Mr. Nakhan. And Dr. Sumler shared with us how a mentor can make a difference in a student's life. So why do you continue to mentor students?
Ms. Corvetto, thanks for having us today. I've actually mentored students for about 8 years, but my roots go back to middle school, where I was an underachiever in academics and a bit of a discipline problem, but one of my teachers saw some potential there. And I noticed early on in that year that I was called to the blackboard quite often to break down math problems and to break down sentence structure. And also when we did open reading, I was called upon a little bit more. So there was some encouragement there on her part, and that kind of developed a little bit more into one-on-one mentoring. About midway through the school year, she asked me if I would tutor a fellow student who was going to be out sick for quite some time. So those little targets, those little successes that I had kind of molded me into wanting to perform, and that's kind of what turned me around in that school during those years. So when I came to St. Charles Parish and became involved in education, I just felt the need to give those opportunities back to students here in St. Charles Parish.
Well, I know you've been involved for a number of different years, and Dr. Sumler has shared really one of the first mentors that the school system program had, and we appreciate everything that you've done through that program. But I know you have an opportunity to see it firsthand how it benefits students. So share a little bit about what you see when you mentor students and how you see it really benefiting students on a daily basis.
Sure. As Dr. Sumler alluded to, we work with students on life skills, with time management, with study habits, commitment, communication, goal setting, those sort of things. And when a student comes to you the following week after you've gone over one of these life lessons, and they say, Mr. Nakhan, I really took to heart what we talked about last week, and I engaged in that lesson, and I made a C or I made a B on the test. That's a success story. Also later had a opportunity to talk with Dr. Sumler, and she told me about when my student came forward one day when I had a scheduling conflict and I couldn't be there, and how disappointed he was that we weren't able to connect, weren't able to get together, so that's enlightening. That's a connection that you establish between mentor and mentee.
Definitely, and I know, like you said, it's really just someone there for them that they can listen to, who can offer advice and who can help them through not only their academic journey, but really their life journey with those life skills. And why do you think it's so important for others to get involved? What can we share with people about how they can make an impact and why it's important for them to be a mentor and to help our students?
Well, I think it's important because it shows the students that there are people outside their immediate family and the teachers in the school who really care about them and want to help them become successful. So so when they see someone taking the time away from their job or just from their busy schedules and come in, it's a commitment to them and to our future, and the students like that.
Yeah, I feel like the rewards that I get through mentoring are just outstanding. You know, to digress a little bit and talk about the first student that I mentored. Okay, he had some challenges. You know, his mother was deceased, his father was incarcerated. So he had every opportunity presented before him to give up. He was also trying to raise two siblings. So in his mind, what he thought was, you know, maybe I need to go out into the workforce. You know, but through discussion, talking about life lessons, you know, we finally decided and he started working on, you know, a commitment to make himself an example of his siblings. So we challenged one another. You know, we wanted to see him graduate high school. And as that term approached, as that finality approached, you know, we started talking about the college level. And I made a promise to him that if he went to college and graduated, wherever it was, okay, I would be there to watch him walk across the stage. And fortunately, this December, my wife and I are flying to Philadelphia because he will be graduating in Philadelphia.
What an amazing story, and I'm sure there's many of those stories through our different mentee and mentor type programs, but that truly, like you said, you see it firsthand, and that truly is one of those rewards, and it goes to show the relationship that our mentors do develop and how much they mean to our mentees. So we've talked a lot about the success stories and the rewards of being a mentor. So Dr. Sumler, if someone is interested in becoming a mentor, how can they be involved in the program?
Okay, well, it's actually very easy. They can call the school board office and ask for me, and I will call them back, or they can email me. And again, I'll email them and tell them what's involved. If they have email, I'll send them some information, and then we'll set up an appointment for them to come in and go through the background check, the little training. Training is about 30 to 45 minutes, and then they can get started. And if someone's really interested, if they can call during the summer, that would be great. We can do the training then and be ready to roll in August.
Great, and as you mentioned, it is a minimal time commitment.
Yes.
30 minutes per week, and then of course there's flexibility if you're not able to make, one of those mentoring sessions. It's really to accommodate the mentor in their schedule as best possible for them to participate in that. So.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you both joining me and sharing this information with the public, and hopefully after hearing this, more people will sign up to be a mentor and make a difference in a student's life. And I'd like to thank Mr. Nakhan and Dr. Sumler for joining me, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time for another edition of On Board.